Sorry for interruption. Sir has received the Best Research Paper Award on 3 occasions at the All India Accounting Conference, has organized 5 national and 1 international seminars, and 5 PhDs are awarded, 5 submitted, and currently 8 scholars are working under his supervision. He has completed 1 UGC major research project. Sir has received IPA Best Commerce Faculty Award in the year 2020 from the IPA Educational Society, Hyderabad. He regularly delivered lectures at UGC HRDC, Usman University, St. Gad Baba Amaravati University, Maharashtra, State and Central Universities, constant and affiliated colleges of Usman University. He is a life member of Indian Accounting Association and Commerce Association and Telangana Commerce Association. He is currently coordinator, Center for Protection of Financial Literacy and Vice Principal of the University College of Commerce and Business Management, Usmania University. Thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Dr. C. Rajeshwar sir, for introducing the keynote speaker of the day for this technical session number 1 on the second day. Now I request H. Srinivas Garu, who is the chairman for this session, to take over.
Professor Naresh Reddy Garu and our Surinarayan sir, Swamy sir, and our colleagues Rajeshwar, Giridhar, Akunuri Garu, and other colleagues, and my young friends. Today, the second day is organizing the seminar on report writing and for research and project. Commerce and Social Sciences Department collectively organizing that you know very well, and today is the final day. Yesterday what happened, you know, from the morning to evening, Patrick sir has come, and Usha madam also has given a speech, and today Naresh in afternoon also Madam Prashant Atma madam is coming. That is the schedule for today, and now Naresh Reddy Garu will give you the speech on the projects relating to your final year BCom. It is compulsory paper, 100 marks, first time introduced in Usmania University. It is not available earlier. This batch onwards project reports was introduced. Be careful, you have to write, don't take light, and don't copy it from here and there. Okay, internet matter will not be accepted. Your marks will come down. You will get a 0 marks also. Some students may fail also. Be careful. That's why we are arranging from various experts collecting here and giving the lectures on this particular topic. And second year students' point of view, it is a lesson to you. Next year, anyhow, you are going to be faced about the report writing and all. So that is a important point. You please make it note. And now I request Naresh Reddy Garu, please start the
Yeah, good morning. So we are sitting there. You are very much interested in backbenches. Okay. I thank all the professors here, especially Srinivas sir and Harish and other teachers who are there here and from the different departments of the college. I thank all the students who are very much interested to learn something from me. So if you learn few things also, I'm very happy and my time and your time is also utilized properly. So anyhow, come to this research. So before going to talk about, so my job is very simple. What is that? How to prepare that report? Whatever 50 pages or 60 pages that you are going to prepare. So how to write is important. Now, when you talk about this, here I am going to concentrate on these four important aspects. With this 1 hour or 1.5 hour, it depends on your patience and your listening capacity. I will continue. Now, we have to concentrate on the important steps related to any project. It may be a major research project, minor research project, or BCom dissertation, MCom dissertation, PhD like, or even projects related to government, etc. But small deviations are there, but the major essence is more or less similar. Now, out of this, I am not going to concentrate much of my time on step 1, step 2, step 3. No. These are all the steps which you have already learned in the last class. So first step talks about selection of the topic. How can you select the topic like? So there are different sources are there. So on every step, I want to take only 1 or 2 minutes up to the step number 4. Later we have to concentrate on the 6th and 7th step. These are the steps which are very much related to my session. So selection of the topic may come from different sources. It may be a review of literature, or it may be reading some newspapers. You will get an idea, or your teacher may give some topic, or you may be discussing with your friends or your parents also. You will get some problem or idea. According to that, we can also select a particular topic, right? Now, this is very important. Initially, when you talk about a particular topic which is researchable or not, points you must try to consider. The first point is how much time which is there with you, availability of the time. For example, it may be a undergraduation or post-graduation, the time is very limited. So it may be 3 months or 6 months, not more than that. But in the case of PhD, the time is more. They will take minimum 3 years, maximum up to 6 years. Now rules are changed. No? So if these PhD scholars are not going to complete their PhD thesis within 6 years, their admission will be cancelled. So that is a different story which is not applicable here. So if you are not going to complete your project within these 3 or 4 months, so you will be fail in the subject, right? So this is not a full subject. 50% is meant for your end exam, and 50% is meant for your this project preparation, right? Out of that 50 marks, you will have a project preparation and viva voce examination. Now, this classification of the marks, etc., you know very well. If you go through the syllabus or the curriculum, also you know very well. Now, that is about the selection. So, when a topic is going to be selected, you must try to concentrate on the time, availability of the time, as well as the cost. In some of the cases, you are also going to incur the money. Money in the form of, for example, you want to collect the primary data. We have to move here and there. If your sample may be a big sample, or the places which are going to cover may be more. So in that case, the scope must be, you have to confine to a particular area because yours is a small dissertation, right? For example, some of the students, what they will do, they want to study at a national level. For example, uh, the performance evaluation of some payment banks in India. For example, if you want to select a payment bank, so we are not going to select all the payment banks because it takes much time to collect the data and interpret the data which is collected from different sources. In other cases, the data may be costly. Data may not be freely available. For example, I want to go a research topic on IPOs or venture capital funds, right? Private equity like. Now, the most of the private companies, so they are maintaining the data. For example, you can take CMI reports. If you want to download the data from the CMI website, now they ask the subscription. So institutional subscription is how much, 2 to 3 lakhs per annum. So your college or my college is not in a position to offer that. Okay. Now, for example, some of the institutions which they already subscribed, if you want to go there also, they will charge some amount. So if you are ready to go by this, now you can select. So what we have to consider? The data may be available or not. Is it feasible or not? So don't go with the private information like, okay? Only the public information which you have to try to collect. So you have a plan for that. For example, you want to go with the primary data. So who are your target audience or the respondents? So they are located in which place like? So what type or what category of the respondents which you have to select, you must be having a very clear idea or the plan like. Now ultimately, you have to check your with your teacher. So maybe it may not be a third step, it may be a first step also in your case. Why? First, you have to discuss with your teacher. If you are discussing with your teacher will tell you what is this topic is feasible or not. They knows very well in advance, but you don't know. For example, I want to uh, do research on a particular topic like. Now, the effect of internal control and internal audit on organizational effectiveness. Topic is beautiful, but who will give the data related to internal audit and internal control? Nobody will give. Who tell this? Your teacher will tell. Topic is good, but you are not going to get the data from the companies. So like that, you please meet your teacher. Your teacher will guide you in a proper direction that will help. So you can reduce your time. Now, we will also go with some notes in the form of review of literatures, readings like you must try to. The another important point is selection of topic is not that simple. It is like a selection of your spouse. If once this is selected, you must continue with the journey of 3 months or 4 months with that topic only. So after 1 month or 2 months, you want to come back, or you want to select the other topic, the time which is not going to permit you. That is initially you must try to know itself. You must try to go with the outlines of your dissertation. Based on this, we must concentrate on the, after all these issues, data will be collected, the data which is there with you, and you want to prepare a report. So we are into that particular step. So what is the step here? Prepare that dissertation. Okay. If it is a PhD, how to prepare the PhD dissertation like. So all other steps are over here. What are the other steps like? Objectives, hypothesis, sample selection, your questionnaire, or maybe secondary data you may be selected, which is collected, right? So after the collection of the data, you will sort out, right? You will also record in the form of the tables like. These are all the things which, so you are very much ready to go for writing part. Everything is there with you and you want to start the writing part. So that writing part is, here is a,
Oh,
what
you
do you
all
mean by
కూడా
a research
కనిపిస్తుంది.
report? In social sciences, research report in social sciences is very simple. You must try to record. It is a written document because it is mandatory, right? It is mandatory. It is having certain rules or the guidelines, these guidelines which you have to follow. And I'm going to try to explain the mandatory things from our university, how the report must be, or how the, so which is first, which is second, which is third, like. I can also try to explain about the contents of your report. So the report is divided into three categories. The first part talks about your opening pages, and second part talks about body of the project, and last part talks about the end pages. So this is the classification related to your project, right? So based on this particular body, so what type of characteristics must be there to a particular report? So report must be very, very simple. What do you mean by simple? Everybody must in a position to understand. Simplicity in presentation. Don't use big words or technical words like, or you may be going to use some of the important words which are very much required to use in your research. These words you must specify in advance in the form of meaning you have to present. What do you mean by it? For example, we know very well. Take from the banking side, we have different types of banks, right? So we know commercial banks, right? Out of that, we will have the private bank, public sector bank, foreign bank, and recently we will also have a payment bank, small finance banks, like this. If you want to do a research on a new bank like the payment or maybe a small finance bank or NBFCs like this, these are all there. Now, out of that, if the general public may be having less idea about a particular concept, you must try to explain initially, right? In a very, very simple manner. Now, another important point is clarity must be there. Clarity in the sense, if you read out the sentence, we will have to get some meaning out of it. So writing sentences is not that much hard, but it must convey some meaning. If it conveys some meaning, now the reader is having interest. For example, we used to read the novels previously. Our generation knows very well, right? If you start reading novel, it is very difficult to stop that. Okay. For example, the Chandu Sombabu or maybe some the thrilling novels are there. If once you start reading, so this is the greatness of the author, how he presented. No, we are not going to stop even one sentence or one page also, even 100 pages are there. 2 to 3 hours continuously we will try to read it and complete it. So how it is possible? This is possible with the way which that fellow is presented. So that presentation is important. And most of the cases you must try to remember. Now, who will read your presentation, your dissertation? Your teacher will read, you will read, and your examiner may see 1 to 2 minutes, not more than that. And later he will try to ask some questions. But only one thing you must realize. After 10 years or after 20 years, your children will read. Your children will read and your children will laugh. Why? If it is not a qualitative presentation. Okay. So this is the important aspect which you must try to remember. So here the another point which I want to explain is the brevity. So it may not be long sentences like the paragraphs which you want to present like. Okay. Now, for example, radio jockey. What you will get out of it? They will speak hours and hours together. Hours together they will speak. For that speaking, they are getting salary. But thing is, we are wasting our time. We are wasting our time is a remunerative to somebody. Clear? So that type of presentation or speaking is not at all required. So point to point presentation is very much required here. So your English language comment over plays an important role. Okay. So you can also try to learn English presentation skills. So positivity is also plays an important role. So try to present in a positive way. Don't go with a negative way. So people mindset we know very well. But somebody speaks for every point, they will question like a negative thing. Their mindset is totally negative, right? Whatever you tell, simply they will come with a negative thought. Okay. That negative way of presentation, you please stop. You please present in a positive way of so where we have to put the move to- in our case. So PhD, we know that. So how many drafts we have completed? Draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, draft 4 like. So the readability will improve based on the number of times which you read. For example, even I want to share even the example related to even my case also. For example, I will try to write one paragraph in the morning. After 1 hour or 2 hours, if I read out the same paragraph, some changes I want to do it. Okay. Or after 1 day also you can read out some changes you perform. So this is the way you can try to improve your presentation. And the important point also here, for your graduation or post graduation, you will complete very easily. How? You may come to a college or you are not listening the classes also. You will attend the exam and you will get a memo. It may be a pass or fail memo. But in the case of report writing, today you may be wrote 2 paragraphs. When you stop writing, after 10 days, if you open it, same 2 paragraphs will be there. So what is required? Every day you must try to add some number of pages on your own. And don't bother about the 100 pages, 200 pages, or 300 pages of report. Nobody is having time to read all these number of pages. So whatever the report, a beautiful report which you have to prepare with 50 or 60 pages also, that is more than enough. Out of 50 pages, how many pages are on your own? That is important. You must try to get the happiness by reading those number of pages. Why? Those pages which you have produced on your own. Okay. Now the way which the students what they will do, the other practices which we know very well. What is that? It is very easy to create 1,000 pages within 1 hour. How? You know very well, copy, paste, right? Cut, copy, paste. Don't use cut, copy, paste. You please read out, try to understand it, and try to reproduce it at least. You please write on your own. Otherwise, also you have a problem. This batch they may leave, but later they will also made mandatory. What is it? The plagiarism check all, which will come later. Even in PG also they want to introduce in at university level. Later it will come to UG. Now it is already there in the PhD. So you may be writing 200, 300 pages also, but we must go to that particular checker and they will go and compare the similarity index. If similarity index is more than 10%, that project or the PhD will be rejected. If it is less than 10%, it is accepted. So it is very, very difficult to come out of this plagiarism and all. Okay. So please try to write on your own. And the sequencing is also important. So which point we have to write first, which is second, which is third, like. Now, the another important point which you must try to know, the outlines you must try to prepare first. So chapter 1 is what, chapter 2 is what, chapter 3 is what, 4 is what, 5 is what, right? In chapter 1, what is the first heading, second heading, third heading, and what are the subheadings which are required? This is called a layout or the skeleton. The skeleton is very, very important. If you have a skeleton with you, it is very, very easy to fill all these headings and subheadings within no time. If you are not having any clarity about the headings and subheadings, so it will create a problem to the presenter as well as the reader also. Okay, where he is there or where she is there in reading, like. It is very difficult. And the proper form is also very, very important. The form which I can also explain. So the form which is mandatory to present your dissertation according to the university guidelines. Okay. And you can also use these days. A beautiful presentation is possible. How? You can go with your MS Office. You can create excellent pictures, excellent graphs. Okay. So one paragraph of your sentence writing will explain by only one small picture. So you can make use of it, but don't go by a duplication of it. For example, what the students will do, they will present a table with 2 columns, right? The same table will be presented in the form of a graph. There is no use. That is only duplication. If a big table is there, but only few figures, 1 or 2 figures are important, for those 1 or 2 figures, we can present in the form of a graph or chart. That is a beautiful presentation, and reader will get the final conclusion with that particular picture very, very immediately, or within a very fraction of seconds, he will realize about that particular presentation, right? So conciseness. Now, for example, the words which are unnecessarily we are using. For example, you can read out this. tomorrow at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. That is more than enough. What is presented here in the morning? Why in the morning? In the morning is not required. Generally, we will use some of the terms repeatedly in our speaking, right? Day-to-day presentation, oral presentations, we will use so many duplicated terms like. But in presentation, it will be very, very important. You must try to look into it. So this you know very well. What is that? So when we are speaking, nobody bothers about grammar. When you are writing, yes, it will be counted. If you want to put your thought on the paper, now people are ready to criticize or people are ready to plug the mistakes out of it. Okay. So that's why the grammar is going to play an important role. So it may be any language, every language is having its own grammar, the way which we have to present, the rules and regulations which we have to use in the presentation. Yeah, these are all the important points which you must take care of at the time of the writing part, right? So, for example, the people are very repetitively use the word the, repetitively they use the word a, repetitively they use the word and. This repetitive way of words which you are using, you must try to avoid. Okay? The big sentences also you must try to avoid it. These are all the important points which we have to try to consider, right? And unbiased recommendations are the conclusions. So the conclusions which we have to draw from your study only, not from your mind. These are not the personal conclusions. These are the conclusions drawn from your study only. So somebody they will write in the presentation, I conclude that. No, I conclude. Huh? It is concluded that. We concluded that. No, we concluded. It is concluded that from this study, it is evident from the table so and so is that. Like that only you must try to present it, right? So this way of presentation is very much required. Now, what do you observe out of this picture? The person who is blind, so they are touching at each and every part of the elephant. The person who touched this one, now he concluded that it is a snake. Don't conclude. Okay. So this is important. You must conclude from your study after careful observation only. So without careful observation, don't go for the conclusions. So you must try to present the complete information. Important information is very important to present. Don't miss the important information. Okay. Now it may be related to your profitability, it may be related to liquidity or financial performance, whatever you want to present. Now in the case of that presentation, the important information which you have to present it. And another point is here, headings and subheadings which you have to use in your presentation. Okay. So how we have to write headings, how we have to write subheadings. These are the important aspects which we have to try to learn in the case of your presentation. Anyhow, these are the certain important points you must try to remember. Not only these, now we can discuss like 1 hour, 2 hours on only grammar, because this is going to play an important role in a beautiful presentation, right? Even in the case of PhD thesis also, now whatever we experience after the reports received from the experts also put one comment. Okay, please check the grammatical mistakes which are done by the scholar and so page. Like that they will observe. So these mistakes you must try to avoid it. So anyhow, you must take care of so many problems which you will encounter at the time of preparation of your beautiful report, right? Now that 50 or 60 pages of report, we must try to classify into three important aspects. So what are those? The initial or the preliminary pages, the body of the report, and the terminal or the end pages. So previously, nobody bothered about bibliography, how you may be presented like. But now they are very, very careful. Your bibliography or your references are not properly presented. They are also commenting now. So for that, we have the citation styles. Citation styles are there. You must try to use a particular citation style in the case of presentation of the bibliography or the presentation of the references, so which we have sourced, right? So these pages also playing an important role now. So anyhow, we have to concentrate on the initial pages first. So what is the first page? Title page, your title page. Okay. So what will be there in your title page? Tell me. What will be there in your title page? Your topic. Okay. Next. 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 What will be there? Hmm? No, 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 no. I am talking about cover page. This this one cover page. Title page is cover page. Your topic, your name, okay, your college name, university, right? The place, the year. These are only things which we have to present. So title of the study, name of the degree. Degree is also important. Is it BCom honors? So BCom finance, whatever the courses which you have. So your all ticket numbers. If it is a group project, names of the group of the students, right? So your names also, your right, college, university, date of submission, like these are all must be there, and you can also use the logo. Okay, this is talks about the first page, and it must be very, very beautiful, neatly arranged, and you can take, you can use the colors like. Okay. Now come to the second important point is declaration part. Who will declare? Who will declare? Teacher. Student must declare. So what if we have to declare? What we have to declare? Huh? Declaration relating to what? Excellent. This guy is clever. It is not copied. So it is not submitted anywhere else like. Okay, I can also present that. This is about declaration. So don't use your mind here. Simply the formats are given. Take the format and simply present. But what is important is that you don't copy, you don't submit anywhere else. So you have to submit your original copy here only. Okay, this is about your declaration, right? Now come to next. Now your teacher will come. So what your teacher will do? Your teacher will certify. Your teacher will certify your work. That's why we will call it a certificate. Okay. So the same matter which is typed, and you can take the signature of your teacher. Don't put the signature of your teacher. Okay. Don't copy your teacher's signature. You please take the signature of your teacher. So before going to sign, what the teacher will do, finally he will check the report. If any mistakes are there, he will guide you to change certain important mistakes at the final stage also. That's why you please take the signature of your teacher. Now come to the other important point, acknowledgements. So what we have to write here? In acknowledgements, what we have to write? You want to thank, no? You want to thank whom? Whom you thank? Huh? Teacher, okay. Your supervisor. Next. your head of the department, your principal of the college. Hmm? Somebody may be helped in data collection. You can also thank them. Next. Any more? Your friends. You can also thank your friends who may be helped in the arrangement of this project or collection of the data like. So like this, who may be helped in your project, you please try to thank them. Don't take it free of cost. Okay. So your thanks are much, much very higher in nature. You can't measure in monetary terms, right? So that is important. Now come to the another point is contents part. Contents. What we have to write here in contents? So, for example, in our textbooks, the index will be there, no? So like that, you can write here context. So what we have to write here? What we have to write? The table of contents consists of contents and page numbers. So whatever you have presented, like your acknowledgement table number or list of tables, list of figures, so list of abbreviations which you have used, like these are all must be presented in Roman numbers. Roman numbers, right? These are all in Roman numbers. Later we have to begin these numbers from chapter 1. So what is chapter 1 for all the students? Introduction only. Okay. So introduction you have to write in chapter 1, chapter 2, maybe your company profile, if you may be with secondary data like, okay, or theoretical framework, or somebody may goes with the review of literature. Okay. Now next, you can go with the different chapters. Right. Last chapter will be what? Yeah, finding conclusions and suggestions. Okay. Yeah, that is last one. And come to the last pages. What will be the last pages of your presentation? Bibliography, reference. Okay. But now it is very easy. You do some research, for example, take same payment banks. What is the concept here? You must try to know what you mean by a payment bank. What are the guidelines issued by the Reserve Bank of India? If you know this background music, now it is very easy to continue your study. Otherwise, no. If your concept clarity is not there, which tool we have to use, what are the variables which are there? If you are not having any idea, it is difficult. So you can also try to find out the variables, what type of variables we will collect, right? So model summary, whatever the models which you may be used, those models summary also you can present here. Next. Yeah. Okay. Now come to the second point. Designs which you are going to use, you have to present, and sources of data, your sample. For example, sample in the case of secondary data, sample companies. Sample in the case of primary data, your sample respondents. For example, you want to collect the data related to the problems of customers in using online banking or mobile banking. Who are your respondents here? Customers only. So you will consider the customers and you can go with a questionnaire and distribute the questionnaire and ask the responses related to various issues which you are going to consider. Okay. Now, based on that, what type of problems you will face here? How many customers you will select? From which place we have to select? Okay. These problems which you have to face. Now, for that, your sample size is how much? What is the type of the sample which you will use, right? What is the justification for selection of this particular sample? These are the important points which will play an important role, which also you can present here. Sample justification also you can present. And now we can go with, after the sample is already identified, now you can go with the collection of the data in the form of a primary data or in the form of a secondary data, or both also you can collect and both also you can use in your research. Okay. Now different sources are there. Now you can go to a field if it is a primary data, but these days the students are using Google Form. They are not there. But what type of responses which you are going to get is important. How many are going to read all your statements which are there in the form of Google Form? What is the time which they are going to spend? You know, what is the average time a student which is going to spend in a particular social media? It may be WhatsApp, it may be Facebook, like, or you may get a mail also. So a link will be sent. If you click that link, the questions will come and you can go with question 1, 2, 3 and its responses. But the time they are going to spend is very, very less. So don't go with 1 hour questionnaire or half an hour questionnaire like. You please go with some 20 questions or some 30, less than 30 questions. It is very easy to get the responses from the your target audience or the target respondents. Okay. That is also a big subject. What is that? How to prepare a questionnaire, how to form the questions, how to use a scaling. Is it 5-point scale or is it 3-point scale? Is it 7-point scale? So that is also a big subject, right? Measurement and scaling, which is going to play an important role in the case of the questionnaire design and all. So anyhow, the data which you are going to process and analyze, and the overview of the study which in the form of this chapter scheme. And finally, we are not going to cover all the things into account. So whatever the limitations are there, you please try to present the limitations. Okay. Next, results in the form of findings and discussions. You can find The important findings which are observed must be presented here. And you can also try to discuss based on the data or the evidences which you have. You can also go with the summary in the form of conclusions and recommendations. So this is forms part of the last chapter, summary of finding, conclusions and suggestions, which talks about these important aspects in the form of main body, right? So these are all which I have already explained. But one thing you must try to know here, generally students will be very much confused. What do you mean by a finding and what do you mean by a conclusion? How can you write? How can you write a finding and how can you write a conclusion? Tell me. In simple example, I can explain. Knowing your temperature is finding. What is that? Your temperature may be 103, 102, 101, 100, whatever it is. That is nothing but finding. What is conclusion? The conclusion is that this fellow is facing a problem of fever. So we must consult a doctor or you must take a medicine. That is nothing but conclusion. Okay? You please try to clearly mention what the findings from your study and you must go with the conclusions which you have to draw from your study. And these are the last pages. I'm not going to take much of your time. I know your patience. So because of this mobile and social media, you can't have much listening or hearing capacity. Like if an idiot hero may be there, you can see 3 hours movie. But a teacher which he wants to share, you can't receive. I know very well, right? Now come to this last pages, which I already explained. In the form of bibliography, you can write the list of books reviewed, articles, right? The research papers, and the list of the websites which you have visited. Okay. But one important doubt which you will get before that, this is about appendix. So you can also give some additional information, your questionnaire, right? Your the annual reports, which the big data you may be used, the whole data which may not be used in your presentation. Only you use the results of the data. Raw data may be there, you can present here. And if any complex tables, raw data, which is there nowadays, they are asking. So people are using SPSS, EViews, Excel, right? They are using only results. But where is raw data? For that, you can go with raw data in the form of appendix, right? The important data items which you have to present. And finally, this report, now it is not mandatory. If it is mandatory, the report also you can take, right? But one thing, you must have a difference between bibliography and references. What do you mean by bibliography? What do you mean by references? Bibliography is whatever you may be studied, referred, but it is not cited in the your research work. That is called bibliography. References means which you have already used and presented in your study. That is presented in the form of references. That is a slight difference. Most of the scholars which they face the problem, what do you mean by bibliography and references? So style of presentations also going to play an important role. Next slide. Yeah, these are the styles. We will have APA style and MLA style, Chicago style, Oxford style. So many styles are there. So generally the social science, we will follow APA style. Okay. American Psychology Association style we will follow. And these must be presented in the form of the references like. Okay. Yeah, this is all about my presentation. If you have any doubt, you can raise. I can answer. Oh, no, I know you won't ask any doubt. From the last 10, 15 years, I'm experiencing the same. So as a teacher, I have to raise the doubt and I have to question myself and I have to answer it. The same practice which is going on. Even you are helping the teachers. So 50 or 60% of teachers are not useful. Because of you only, our friends are continuing their business. Otherwise, they are out of the classroom. So, so what you are doing, you are not learning, you are not making the teachers to learn. This is not the good practice. Don't practice it.
Good afternoon. Dear students and all the offline participants, online participants, very good afternoon. We just had the first technical session of the day where our associate professor, Dr. Naresh Reddy Garu, has explained to you the intricacies of report writing. I hope you all have enjoyed the session. Now, it is time for felicitation. I request the convener, the organizing secretary, the chairman to come together and felicitate the keynote speaker of this session, Dr. G. Naresh Reddy Garu. Dr. G. Naresh Reddy Garu is being felicitated by Dr. Surya Narayana Garu, Head Department of Commerce, and the convener of the two-day workshop, report writing for research and projects in commerce and social sciences. Swamy Garu, Chairman. Chairman for the technical session, H. Srinivas Garu. Assistant Professor C. Rajeshwar Garu. Thank you, convener sir. Thank you, organizing secretary sir. Thank you, Rajeshwar Garu. Thank you, and H. Srinivas Garu. Now it is time for me to deliver the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I would like to thank our keynote speaker of the first technical session on the second day, Dr. G. Naresh Reddy Garu, for giving his valuable time, for giving his precious time, and coming over to Babu Jagjivan Ram Government Degree College to deliver the important keynote address on report writing. I am very grateful to you, sir, because you have accepted the invitation on a very short notice. So the support rendered by you, for that, we are really grateful. We are grateful to the principal, Babu Jagjivan Ram Government Degree College, who has given us the permission to conduct this two-day workshop. And I am grateful to our head of the department who has coordinated in conducting this two-day workshop, Dr. Surya Narayana Garu. And I am thankful to Swamy Garu, who is the organizing secretary, who has taken all pains in etching out the program for all the 2 days. And I'm grateful to Srinivas Garu, who has become the chairman for this technical session. I'm grateful and thankful to all my colleagues, and I'm thankful to all the students who are physically present here, and I'm thankful to all who have made this technical session a grand success. Thank you one and all. See you in the next session.